Hey YouTube. Well, I hope I can do this video. I got to be out of the house in like 40 minutes for this gig that I have on Friday nights. But I'm going to take a moment to say thank you. We have just reached 11,000 subscribers. I don't want to get by without ever acknowledging you guys, telling you how grateful I am that you are watching. I'm a star. 11,000. That's great. Taking a couple years to get here, but I'm grateful that we are moving slowly forward. Few of my subscribers have asked me about self-publishing since the video I made yesterday, and I want to be clear about this. This has got nothing to do with Jay Wilson or anything about him in this particular video. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about self-publishing. So, when I discovered CreateSpace, CreateSpace is an Amazon company. Amazon changed the whole game, particularly for self-publishing companies. They are literally running these self-publishing companies out of business, and I'll tell you why. CreateSpace, KTP is the Kindle Direct Publishing. They are affiliates. They're both Amazon companies, and ACX to make an audio video. To make an audio tape, cassette, CD, whatever, audio book, right? Okay, they changed the game because a lot of these self-publishing companies, they're disappearing slowly. But what they do is they sell you a package. You pay $700 to $1,000 to get your book published, right? But what I was amazed to find out is this is so easy to do on your own. These people are not doing anything that you can do yourself. Now, of course, when you first start writing, you just want to write. You don't want to sit up there editing and doing a lot of stuff. So I'm tell you about my experience. I told you in my last video. You can always go back to that one. But my experience with my books. When someone told me about CreateSpace, which is connected to KDP and ACX. I went onto the website, checked it out. That's what you got to do. You can't go by what people tell you. Don't take my advice. My advice is go to createspace.com. The information is all laid out. They're professionals at laying it out. They get their profit when you sell books. That's the way it should be. See, these publishing companies, these self-publishing companies, they charge you to create the book, right? You pay for that. So why are you now paying them royalties from your book? And why are they able to control your book that you paid to have done? If you paid for it, it should be yours, right? Amazon's companies, they had a different idea. And that's why they've taken over the industry. They had a different idea. We'll do it free. We want to encourage you to write. You sell books, we make money. Not on you pay me to publish your book and then you continue to pay me. They give you practically all the money. They give you like 70% of your royalties, right? So that's my advice. Oh, another thing about these self-publishing companies, after you sign on with them, it's like you're in a contract with them. They now have control of your book. I don't have time to go into all the details of what that actually means, but it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Why should I pay you for a service and then now you have control of my work for the rest of my life? I have one book, Love and Gospel Music. They put this book at $23. Now you can buy Terry McMillan, any superstar. If you can buy their book for $11, $12, why would you pay $24 for a self-published book? Their game is they create a book and they do a nice job. I'm not going to give the names of this particular one that I use, but the book looks good. But the book looks good anyway, even when you do it yourself. But what was I just thinking? Yeah, they create a book, but their game, they're going to sell you books. See, self-published books don't sell a lot of copies. They average 100 copies. What they do is they lock into you. They get you where now you're going back to them and buying your own books. That's where they make their money. It depends on how much of a hustler you are. Now, you can still make it work. If you're the kind of person that can get out there and hustle your books, do like Elan Harris. He became a well-known author by taking his books to beauty shops, barbershops all over town and selling them out of his trunk. That's the way he did it in the beginning. If you're that kind of hustler, then maybe those companies will work fine for you. But why give them $1,000? They're taking over 50% of your profits forever. So here's the advice. If you're aspiring author, take the pressure off your mind. Is this book going to be published? Will anybody ever read it? Will it ever make it into paperback? That, I can assure you, can be easily done. And it don't take you no money. Right? Concentrate on your story. Put out the very best story. Work on your story. When it's time, you go to this company, CreateSpace. You know what they're going to ask you? It seems almost so silly that it's this easy. They're going to, when you write, I'm assuming you write on something like a Word program on your computer. Now, I don't know about transferring your written work onto your computer, and then it's a lot of work, but however you write. But if you use Word, let's say, first you're going to get all your chapters in one file. That's key. When you have all your chapters on your computer in one file, here's your responsibility, though. You have to get it edited. Don't send trash out because if somebody reads your book and you got mistakes and things in the first 2 pages, they're not going to read the book. They're just not. Okay? So you're in charge of editing, but don't make a huge thing out of editing, because editors can make 5-6 times what you make off your own book, off your own work. They can charge you a fortune. They can charge you by page or by word if they choose to. My experience is, I finished my first book. I had an aunt. I was communicating with her online. She knew I was working on this project. She said, well, send it to me. I'll check it out. She is an English teacher. She was an English teacher. She's retired now. So finished my work. I had a good friend who was, he had a master's in playwriting, or the drug program with, right? So I would send it to him. He would clean it up as best he could. So for my naked eye, it looked great, right? When she saw it, she saw other detailed type things because she was in that industry. I mean, she was an English teacher for many, many, many years, and a lit teacher. Okay, so I had 2 editors on the first project. Sent it to him, sent it to her. I paid nothing. They were just helping me out. One was my relative, and one because we were friends. Second book, that same editor, he took 2 years to do the second. The second book was the biggest book I ever wrote, 420 pages. 2 years. Once a week, he would come and edit what I had written. Took a long time for that book, that project. But he didn't charge me nothing, just out of friendship. So you have to work with people. And then maybe if they're a friend of yours, somebody who you know knows literature and something about writing, has a keen eye for detail, whatever route you use, if you use a professional or you use a friend or use whatever you use, don't let these people convince you that you got to go out and pay thousands and thousands of dollars for an editor, because it's not necessarily so. You know, your book gets picked up. Some big company wants to make a movie out of it, whatever. They have their own editors. Don't even worry about it. Then after that, another friend of mine, this guy got busy in his career. Another friend of mine did a third book. And then, surprisingly, the woman who paid for my first book, I got that as a gift, or my second book, she's in her late 80s, right? She was a psychiatrist. No, it was a friend from church. It was not my psychiatrist. She volunteered to do it, and she did an excellent job. Even at that age, she did an excellent job. So it was always about networking with people, working with people. Okay, I gotta get ready to get out of here. When you got it all on your Word program, right? It's been edited. You're ready to go. You contact CreateSpace. They're going to ask you two essential questions. First, they're going to have you do two things. You click download. You're going to download your manuscript, right? What you have on your Word. Second thing, you're going to take a picture, download the picture, and then you're going to create your own cover. They're going to say, click, download cover. So it's basically 2 clicks. Download the manuscript, download the cover. Now, if you have it done right, it's going to appear on the page just like it appears on Word. Correct? On a couple of these books, I did use people to help me with the cover. So if you go to this company called Fiverr, they do everything for $5, all kind of graphic arts and things like that. You can say, okay, I can spend $5, $10. I think I paid, what time was all over, a total of $15 for the cover, front and back covers of my book. Find my own picture. They'll send you to places where you can pick out a picture out of a million photographs, stock photos, create the cover. So people say, well, I don't want no self. I'm telling you, the game has changed. Because what you're going to have is you're going to have an Amazon company who is the same company that's going to sell your books. So you're automatically going to be on Amazon. Then you're going to be on Nook. I don't know how these things work with all these different websites, but they can just go and just offer your book. It goes through Amazon, Anyway, all that to say, you get the exact same thing as you're getting from these rip-off self-publishing companies. I call them rip-off because they shouldn't be getting paid on the front end and the back end, and basically you end up buying your own work. Okay, so I hope that helps some people. Several people come in, they're working on projects, they want to know more about self-publishing. And I can always talk about it again, but basically remember it's 2 things. You got to have a finished manuscript, build your own cover. You want to put your face on the cover? There's a channel to do that. The cover is not what they make it seem like with these graphic artists and all that. All you're doing is putting the title, putting your name, maybe a subtitle if you choose to. It ain't all that, honey. It's all doable, and there's a joy when you haven't spent money on it. It's a joyous experience when you realize that, I can just sit down and just write, and it will be published because I'm going to publish it myself. Right? All right, I hope I helped somebody. I'm off to work. God bless you guys. Thanks for your 11,000 subscribers. Okay, now I got to click off. Many times when I click off this thing, I always push the wrong button.